first, I want to do some refutations. The affirmative side has mentioned that the information of sex offender will not be erased from the database, but it's a kind of life imprisonment. Sex offenders, not only the sex offenders, but also their related people, like their friends, their family, their children, which are innocent, will be discriminated too. And second, they mentioned about their plan. They're going to be an app and put microchip into the human's body, which actually harm the sex offender's human rights. And the Constitution, which is the most powerful law in Taiwan, will not allow this to happen. And during the cross-examination, the affirmative side failed to answer the internet problem. If our people don't have internet in their cell phone, they cannot get access to the app or the information. So making public sex offenders' personal information is at all a ridiculous policy. And third is the fairness. Because the affirmative side said they're going to make public the sex offender's information at the moment that the sex offender is released from the prison. But after they're released from the prison, it's time for them to start their new life. So how can we do this to them? It's a kind of discrimination, just as I mentioned before. And here are some of our points. First is their plan is ineffective. During the cross, the affirmative side agreed that making public sex offenders' personal information is not a kind of punishment. But first, they have harmed the criminal's body right, which I mentioned it before. And also, we already have a criminal code of Republic of China right now, but sex offenses still happening every day. So how can this light strategy work on this society? And now I'm gonna emphasize our points again. First is the low recidivism rate. Just as my partner mentioned, there are only 3% of sex offenders that are going to recidivist again. So the low recidivism rate indicates that it's unnecessary to pass this policy. And because first offenders are the majority of sex offenders, so there is no information for people to search for, because they only search for the 97% that will not likely not to commit the crime again. So it is ineffective. We believe that being able to identify the sex offenders does not equal to the prevention of sex crime and public safety. Due to the reason above, we negative side strongly disagree with the resolution. Thank you.
Former history, final speech, 3 minutes.
Good morning. First, we would like to respond to the negative contention. The negative content that the recidivism rate is only 3%, but we only going to make the tier 2 and 3 sex offenders' personal information, and the high risk sex offenders' recidivism rate is 41%. There is definitely a significant change, and the negative content that the sex offenses cases are happening every day. So the affirmative strongly insists that there is a grave need to change now. Second, the negative content that citizens cannot remember sex offenders' face. We insist they don't have to remember all of their face, but to find a convenience store nearby and get the internet and check it through the apps to check all the offenders nearby them. And we think you can find a convenience store nowadays very easily. Third, the affirmative do agree with the current system, but there are several defects of current system, such as cost a lot of budget and human resources, but they do not have any minor plans, and our budget is definitely cheaper than theirs. Allow me to reiterate the problems in the current system. First, the number of sex offenses has increased by about 15% during 2005 to 2011, which may result from the current system. Second, currently the public does not have access to the information of sex offenders, who are more likely to violate the laws again. To eradicate the harms in the current system, we propose making public personal information of sex offenders by first, implanting GPS tracking microchips into Tier 2 and 3 sex offenders on the day of their release. Second, setting up a website that discloses sex offenders' personal information as defined by our first affirmative. Third, recruiting software engineers to design an application that combines real-time GPS checking and checking function for the public to download and access. Fourth, making policy commercials on major websites such as Google, Facebook, or YouTube to promote the application that can ensure people's safety. Fifth, organizing lectures and events around the nation to educate students and the public how to stay away from danger. We, the affirmative, has sufficiently proved that our plan will effectively work. Our plan can decrease the recidivism rate and also can apprehend the recidivists rapidly. Public safety is further guaranteed. Therefore, we will ask for the affirmative decision at the end of this debate. Thank you.